part of the fun of being a fan is to trash talk other fans. Talk shit about their team, brag on your team. I get it. Especially when you talk about the environment that is the internet, and particularly at this time of year. It's mid-July, training camps are about to start. Everybody's starting to want to have their whistle wetted in terms of football, right? Like, we can feel that season closely approaching. You're in that couple of weeks in July where there really isn't too much of crap sports-wise that you really care about. So you got to find something to bide the time, right? And you can take to social media. And you can trash talk other fan bases. You can brag about your team. You can do what a lot of Bears football fans do. And that is justify and excuse mediocrity. And it is an incredibly well-developed skill that they have manifested over an extended period of time. But over the past few days, I've seen a very big back and forth between Bears fans and Carolina Panthers fans. And that shit is so stupid. Look, I get why these two fan bases would be going after each other, right? The Bears. Let's face it, Bears fans want to see the Panthers do as badly as possible over the next couple of years. Why the fuck wouldn't they? They want Bryce Young to fail. They want the Panthers to have top picks in the first round because those picks convey to the Chicago Bears. Not hard to figure it out, right? Like, it makes sense. So Bears fans are going to be actively rooting against the Carolina Panthers. Similar to how I'm sure Giants fans, were actively rooting against the Bears in 2021 because they had the Bears first round pick in the next year's draft. Like, that's part of the name of the game. It makes sense. Panthers fans should be pissed about that. Because when the shoe was on the other foot, Giants fans rooting against the Bears because they wanted a better draft position. As they fucking should. That's how it should work. And I totally understand Carolina Panthers fans and their perspective because they're looking at this 5'10"-ish, barely 200-pound-ish Bryce Young, and they're hoping to God that he's the franchise. They're hoping to God that he is that dude. Because if he's not, that organization has been set back several years. If he is, and especially in the division that they play in the NFC South, the Panthers could win the division as soon as 2023. Like, that is not an unrealistic expectation. So Panthers fans are selfishly wanting Bryce Young to become that dude, justify that with price that was paid, so that way, when they have to watch the next couple of drafts and see some of the picks that the Bears are able to use that came from the Panthers, they can say to themselves, fuck it, we don't care. We got our quarterback in the future. Like, you look at 2018, right? And the Bills moved up from 12 to 7 and gave up a couple of second-round picks in that same draft and got Josh Allen. You think they give two shits about those 2 second-round picks? Hell no. You think the Chiefs give 2 shits about when they traded from the mid-20s up to number 10 in the 2017 draft to get Patrick Mahomes? They probably feel like shit. We give up a first-rounder the next year. We can give up the next 3 first-rounders that still feel like a fucking bargain. Right? If you get that quarterback, that is all that matters. And at least for Panthers fans, they could say they've had some modicum of success at the quarterback position for that organization. Not that Jake Delhomme was a super stud, but they won quite a number of ball games with him. They went to a Super Bowl with Delhomme as a quarterback. Cam Newton was the face of the franchise for close to a decade. League MVP, led them to a Super Bowl appearance. So, the Panthers have had pockets of success going back to the 96 season, right? When they made it to the NFC Championship game. They beat the Cowboys in the divisional round, blah, 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 blah. But I've seen over the past few days, Bears fans talking shit to Panthers fans about how much their organization sucks. Ding dong, dumb dicks. Where in the bluest of blue fucks, Bears fans, do you get the idea that you were able to hold up Bears football on a pedestal over anybody damn else? Like, how freaking stupid can you be? What, because you think 2023 is going to go well? They're going to make the playoffs. They're going to win the division. Oh my God, Ryan Poles is King Poles. He's a genius. Meanwhile, you're standing over a guy that in his first year in charge, they won 3 games. And he wasn't trying to actively tank the entire time. Let's get that really clear. No, he wasn't. No, he wasn't. So Bears fans, it's bad enough Bears fans get into it with Lions fans and Vikings fans and Packers fans on Twitter. Like, who gives a shit? Focus on the Bears. If the Bears handle their own business, then none of that other shit really matters, right? Everything's going to find a way to play out. You could lose divisional games and still make the playoffs, still go to the Super Bowl, still win the Super Bowl. Somebody else could win the division and the same thing could happen. So who gives a shit? I wouldn't care if the Bears went 13-4 but lost twice to the Vikings and Packers, but they won a Super Bowl. Who gives a fuck? Let the Vikings and the Packers beat them in the regular season. I'm worried about championships, right? That's all that fucking matters. Again, that's all that fucking matters. So Bears fans certainly have no place, and I understand it might be fun to tweak Panthers fans a little bit because it kind of is. Especially because they're the ones that feel the pressure right now that Bryce Young's got to be the guy. And if I was in their spot, I would be at least a little bit worried too, for sure. But Panthers fans, I've seen some retorts talking about, since the Panthers came into being in 1995, they went to the Super Bowl twice. The Bears have only went once. And talking about playoff appearances, playoff wins. Oh, when did the Soldier Field beat y'all in 2005 in the divisional round? And who gives a fuck? How many Super Bowl championships have the Carolina Panthers won since 1995? Exactly. How many Super Bowl titles have the Chicago Bears won since 1995? Exactly. The bottom line number is 0. That is Z-E-R-O, 0. None of that other shit matters. Like, you talk about two fan bases having a fucking mid-off on social media, you're talking about Bears fans and Panthers fans. You're sitting there arguing about who's won more regular season games or made more Super Bowl appearances or won playoff matchups head-to-head. Like, any of that shit fucking matters. The only thing that matters at the end of the day is the damn ring. And since 1995, those two teams combined have as many Super Bowl championships as yours truly does. The fuck are these fan bases doing bringing up all this irrelevant shit that just makes your organization and your fan base look even more mid than it already is? I get like keeping it to the topic of, hey, I want the Panthers to suck this year because I want to see the Bears get as high of pick as possible in the first round in return. Damn right, I fucking do too. I hope Bryce Young sucks donkey dick. Because if he does, it's great for Chicago. Meanwhile, Panthers fans are God desperately hoping that Bryce Young is the answer, and he manifests that pretty quickly, because if he does, they could be decent in that division this year, and they could start to justify that high price tag that they paid. And again, I get that. But two fan bases that haven't seen a Super Bowl championship in almost 30 damn years trash talking each other like anybody has a one-up on the other. Both of your fan bases suck, and if you don't believe me, that doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, both of your organizations freaking suck. To Bears fans or Panthers fans, before you trash talk anybody else's organization, anybody else's team, anybody else's fan base, how about your team wins a fucking Lombardi trophy first?